I gave my interview almost 3 times. For visa, we need to collect a lot many documents, definitely. It's a tough process. I got a pre-refusal. A majority of the amount was in my co-sponsor's account. I got a call from the embassy directly. So I was shocked that why I'm being called once again. Asked that why you have applied for the second time and what changes you have made in your profile. So the very first thing that the visa officer told me that I'm not convinced by your documents and I believe it's completely fake. So tell me honestly, what's a sponsor do?
So, welcome back to our channel, guys. Sitting with me is Kapil Udirani, who just received his Italian student visa from the Embassy of Delhi and University of Siena से इनको admission आया है. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, Kapil, first of all, give us a brief introduction about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Kapil Udrani and I hail from the city of Ajmer, which is in the state of Rajasthan. So I completed my schooling from Ajmer only, and then I completed my graduation from Devyala University, which is in Indore, Madhya Pradesh. And recently I've been admitted into University of Siena for the master's program in International Accounting and Management.
ऑलराइट कपिल सो जो पहला क्वेश्चन आता है हर स्टूडेंट की जर्नी में वो होता है कि डॉक्यूमेंटेशन प्रोसेस जिसमें सबसे लंबा टाइम जाता है आपका वो कैसे करते हैं तो आपने वो कैसे मैनेज करा.
So documentation works. So there are, I guess, 3 phases in which documentation needs to be very much perfect. First starts with the admission process. We need everything. कि हाँ course curriculum क्या है. You need all your transcript, your degree certificate, your 10th and 12th mark sheet, your Skype ID. You need to write SOPs as well, and then you need letter of recommendation, each and everything. So for me, I was having good connection with my professors, so they provided me the letter of recommendation like within a day only. And then the next phase when it comes to documentation. So the next phase is like when you get an acceptance from a university. So then comes the attestation process. So there you require original documents. If you're going for masters, so you need your transcripts and degree certificate. So I had to go to Bhopal to get the HRD done, and it was done within a day only. Then comes your DOB process. So for DOB process also you need different kinds of documentation once you receive your pre-enrollment summary. So it takes time. Every in every process you need some time to prepare your documentation and make sure that your name is correct, your father's name is correct, your mother's name is correct. So that also needs to be noticed very well. And ultimately then it's visa. So yeah, for visa we need to collect a lot many documents, definitely. Your sponsor, if you have a co-sponsor, definitely you need his or her details too as well. You need your details filled to be filled correctly. So yes. It's a tough process, but yeah, it's easy.
सो इन टोटल आपको कितना टाइम लगा पूरी प्रोसेस.
I will say around 2 months. For DOV it took around 1 month, and for attestation each and everything, so it takes around 1.5 to 2 months to collect all the documentation.
ऑलराइट दैट्स ग्रेट. डॉक्यूमेंटेशन के बारे में अगर हम बात करें तो देयर इज वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डॉक्यूमेंट दैट कम्स अंडर एवरी स्टूडेंट्स जर्नी दैट इज योर कवर लेटर. तो आपने वो कैसे प्रिपेयर करा.
So when it comes to cover letter, I would like to say this thing, that cover letter is everything. Whatever you want to explain majority of the things in your cover letter. So I gave my interview almost 3 times. I applied for the first time on 12th of August. So for that time, I prepared my cover letter in just one page, and I covered up everything, like why I've chosen, first of all, about my profile, what's my passport number, then comes why I've chosen Italy, then comes why I've chosen this particular university, then what's the scope, what's the intention. So, I've explained everything in just nutshell, in just 3 to 4 lines, and I thought that it's correct, But I got a pre-refusal on the 15th day, the day after Janmashtami. So I started working on my profile once again. So after that, once again, I started preparing my cover letter, and you can also take the help of AI, like you need to know that how AI can help you in writing a cover letter. It's not just that you have to write Yacha, like prepare a cover letter or something. No, you have to provide the information to the AI, and then how AI is going to write for you in how many words and in what context, what is the tone in which you should write. It is convincing or fluent or something. You need to be very much specific. So for the second time I prepared the cover letter, I explained a lot many things, that especially when it comes to the intention part, because the main reason was that my intention was not clear during the first time. So when it comes to the intention part, I explained that part in around 8 to 10 lines specifically. And even when it comes to my sponsor, co-sponsor, which be if there is any kind of detail, which needs to be mentioned. So focus on your cover letter first and then on other documents. Because if your cover letter is going to be perfect, so everything is going to be fine. And whatever story you are having, try to explain that through your cover letter, and don't worry about कि अच्छा एक पेज में या फिर 1.5 से ज्यादा हो रहा है. Because for the second time when I wrote my cover letter, I wrote almost 1.5 page of cover letter, and then started with the attestations, what are the other documents that I have attached. So no need to be like कि cover letter ज़्यादा लिख रहे हैं या फिर ऐसे. You need to explain everything in a cover letter, because they want to know everything, they want to know about your profile, and they're going to mainly focus on your cover letter. So cover letter is really, really important.
राइट राइट, मतलब ओरिजिनलिटी भी होनी चाहिए आपकी और उसमें लेंथ भी होनी चाहिए. एआई का इतना ज्यादा यूज करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए?
AI can be definitely be used, because when it comes to some people, um, face difficulty in what language. So definitely, as I said, that it helps in writing in a particular tone, in a particular tense as well. That whatever you want to explain. So definitely, and we don't have just Chat GPT. We have multiple AIs. So definitely, you can use different kinds of AI as well. For example, I use Claude AI, in order to write my cover letter. So the tone, that which was provided to me by Claude AI, I found that it was so convincing, it was so nice, and with minimal synonymous words, it was easy, simple. So yeah.
राइट राइट. ऑलराइट, सो मूविंग ऑन. आपने बताया कि आपने कवर लेटर लिखा, तो उसमें आपने स्पॉन्सर डिटेल्स एंड फंड्स में क्या शो करा? दैट इज आल्सो प्रॉब्लम दैट स्टूडेंट्स फेस.
So for when it comes to my profile, so I have my sponsor who is my mother, and I also have my co-sponsor who is my father. So they both are running a retail business, up, and during the first time, what I did was that majority of the amount was in my co-sponsor's account. So then I got a pre-refusal. So maybe this was also the point that I may have, because sponsor के account में ज़्यादा पैसा नहीं था. So second time I also shifted this amount to my main sponsor's account, and yeah, so sponsor, and when it comes to funds, I showed around 11,67,000. So even after explaining very well about my sponsor details in my cover letter, I also prepared a financial justification letter separately for my mother and for my father as well. I even attached those documents. But in spite of that, I got a call from the embassy directly, and they told me that I have to visit the embassy for an interview. So I was shocked that why I'm being called once again. But yeah, I paid the visit, and their main concern was that sponsor ke account mein it was around she is having around 8 lakhs. So the visa officer was like 8 lakhs for in order to stay in Italy, you need around 7 lakhs per year to stay. So for the second year, how you're going to manage, everything. So they didn't saw my co-sponsor's profile as well. So this is also one of the point that one needs to focus on, that they are going to majorly focus on the sponsor's profile. It's good that you can explain through financial justifications कि अच्छा funds अगर यहाँ से वहाँ transfer हो रहे हैं, what's the reason and what is the proof for that. But they are going to focus on the sponsor profile. Don't have multiple. I won't suggest anyone, through my example, don't have any co-sponsor or any multiple sponsor, because it's going to make them more confusing. So yeah, have only one sponsor, and get all the funds in the sponsor's account, and justify everything, that how the funds are being being laid into that sponsor's account, and then you're good to go then.
Yeah, that's correct. One more question is, how was the visa interview?
So So as I said, that I
Right.
gave the interview 3 times, So for the very first time, it was on 12th of August. So at that time, when I gave the interview, so I was having this thing in my mind that there's going to be only one Italian visa officer. He's going to speak in English language, and then I have to answer. But there was one Italian officer, visa officer, and there was one translator as well. So first, the visa officer was speaking, and I could understand that. But when I was answering, the translator repeated the same question. So us cheez mein, there were 2 to 3 questions. So it took some time to, for me to understand. Acha, first visa officer bolenge, then translator bolega, and then I have to answer. So 2 3 questions, and there was a kind of mistake. Matlab mistake nahi thi, but yeah, it was a kind of a confusion. But yeah, very simple questions were asked. During the first time, they asked us about the financial profile. That what's your sponsor do? Do you have you taken any education loan? Have you received DOB? And what kind of shop it is? Is it a small shop? Where is the shop located? What's a family income? And like in which course you are going. But they didn't ask about the motivation, like why Italy, why not India or something. They didn't ask anything related to that. And I was like so happy कि अच्छा ठीक है उन्होंने ना question पूछा तो उनकी गलती कि उन्होंने नहीं पूछा. But no, you have to, अगर मेरा cover letter उस time पे अच्छा से लिखा होता with full explanation, so refusal नहीं आता. So for the second time I was very much more prepared कि अच्छा like even they'll ask a specific question, but I'll justify 2 3 information, just one answer. So I started with that, and they did ask that why you have applied for the second time, and what changes you have made in your profile. And they got confused, like they thought that I applied last year. So I even explained this thing that I applied not last year, but I applied last month only. And then yeah, she started asking. Then for the second time, in the second time, there was just only one lady who was asking all the questions. So the second time, the questions was a bit similar. That who's a sponsor, how much amount she's having in her bank account, and what's the total fund you are having, and have you received DOB, each and everything. And then one question in the end, she did ask that what is something special about your course and what is the scope of it. So I even did explain that thing. And then when it comes to the embassy interview, so that was a completely different experience. So when I went to the office, at the embassy, so the very first thing that the visa officer told me that I'm not convinced by your documents, and I believe it's completely fake. So tell me honestly, what's your sponsor do? So at that time, डराने के लिए बोलते हैं, but you have to stick to your profile. So I was just smiling all the time. So yeah, so then I started answering each and everything. That yeah, the same thing, that my sponsor is my mother, my father is my co-sponsor. They both are running a retail business, each and everything. I explained them the details, and yeah, they were concerned about the sponsors funds. They were also concerned about the accommodation as well. That I managed to find some accommodation. Then what's next? After a month, you'll be staying, but then what's next after that? So I told them that I'll be finding a university accommodation. So like, and they even asked from me this thing, that what if you don't get a university accommodation? So I did told them that then there are shared accommodation in the city of Siena, and Siena is not that expensive city. It's just going to cost around 200 to 250 euros. So he got convinced, and at that moment only, he just told me that this time I'm giving you the visa, and you can start preparing your luggage. So I was feeling so happy. But yeah, have a good smile, while you'll be giving the interview, because that is something which is going to reflect that yeah, this person is confident, and yeah, he or she needs visa, and yeah, like my
That must be
mantra
like,
was
yeah,
have a good smiling face.
yeah, that must be like a great moment of relief. Ki finally, like I'm getting my visa.
Yes.
All right. So, were there any other challenges that you faced during your journey?
So when it comes to my journey, to be honestly, it was very smooth. But yeah, the main challenge was the visa process only. Like University of Siena was the very first university in which my application was being sent, and 2024 is a leap year, so we have one additional day, 29th Feb. So on 29th Feb, I received the acceptance letter from University of Siena. And I got acceptance from almost five universities, but out of all those five universities, I found University of Siena to be more interesting and with a wonderful curriculum. Then in the month, then it took around 34 days to receive my pre-enrollment summary. I received it on 4th of June. Then my DOB work was also done. In the month of June only it was completed. And then my visa interview was on 12th of August. So I got a pre-refusal. But you don't have to lose your hope, and you don't have to just sit back. You just have to remain positive the whole time that if you want visa, so you have to start manifesting, and you have to remain positive the whole time, because it's a time taking process. It's going to take, it's going to test your patience a lot. So you need, definitely, I'm a kind of a spiritual person, so you have to be very, very much positive. I was all the time positive to my counselors, to all the people of Eurodreams, that yes, I will get my visa anyhow, no matter, okay, I got a pre-refusal, maybe there was a mistake, but this time let's prepare the file in a much better manner, and this time there should be no mistake. So I included more and more proofs. This time I included more business proofs as well, more some cash memos, some purchases bills, and I also showed them my father's employment letter and his salary certificate, self declarations as well, so that there was no chance that in this during the second minute I'm going to face any kind of problem. So I was positive. So in the month of August, it took almost 15 to 16 days in order to get the response that I got a pre-refusal. But in the month of September, it took around 14 to 15 days to get a response that I got my visa. So this was my journey.
Yeah, so being patient has helped you in your journey.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm gonna ask you about your overall experience in your personal journey as well as with Eurodreams.
So with Eurodreams, definitely it was really smooth. I got all the updates on time. I was not having any kind of problem that, like Riya ma'am is not texting me or calling me. No, I got all the updates on time. And then Garima ma'am did help me with all the documentation purpose. Then it was Preeti ma'am who helped me with the scholarship process. And then for the visa process, it was Ekta ma'am. So everyone was so welcoming, and they did picked up my my calls on time. And so with Eurodreams, I don't have any problem. I'm very much satisfied because my work is being done very smoothly. When it comes to my personal journey, so when I got graduated last year, and I was having this dream that I want to go out and want to study. And so before Italy, it was Canada. So I started applying for Canadian colleges. I also got one offer letter as well, but due to some circumstances, I didn't got the loan, and it also didn't got disbursed on time. So, I was in depression, for almost a month. But once again, everything happens for a good reason. We all know that the situation in Canada is not good in the current time. So then I started looking for other European countries, and Italy turns out to be was a great option. I started looking for Eurodreams videos as well. Even the information that you all provided was so much helpful. And then I got enrolled with Eurodreams in the month of November. I was also gaining some experience by that time. I was working as an HR. So once again, I was not having any kind of problem because I was confident that Eurodreams is doing all my work, and everything was perfect. And I waited for some time. I started doing some meditation, each and everything. I was all the time calm, patient, and positive the whole time. And even staying motivated is also one thing. So I'm a spiritual person, one thing I'm saying. So I was all the time very much positive. Positive, positive is something, and if when you start manifesting that, I got my visa very soon, and I'm here in Italy, each and everything, it's definitely going to help you a lot. So for the future aspirants as well, this is going to be my advice: stay positive the whole time. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your profile. That अच्छा ये तो दिक्कत तो नहीं देगा, वो तो दिक्कत नहीं देगा. So no, you don't have to think anything negative.
All right. So your journey has like a really good ending to always be motivated and always
Yes.
like have the power of manifestation. That works.
Yes.
All right. So one last thing that I would like to ask you is that what are some tips for the future aspirants or like something in your journey that you would have liked to change?
So, like, if you want to go to Italy, then start researching about it, you know, a year prior to it. This would be my advice because, I mean, I started looking for some countries, each and everything. So, as I said, that Italy, loved about, about the scholarship process, each and everything. That it's going to be a great journey if I'll be going to Italy. So, I started researching about the universities. I started researching about the curriculum, the courses being provided by different universities. I also started researching about the visa process as well. That what are the things that we need to take care, very well. And this process generally takes around 9 to 10 months. So be prepared. I mean, if you want to prepare anything, so start preparing all the documentation, each and everything a year prior, like in the month of November, December, start preparing your documents so that by Jan you'll be prepared, and then you can start even applying to different kinds of universities. And also make sure that while you'll be giving the visa interview, I also got to know that some people are having a different kinds of tone. So you have to be very much polite, while we talking to the visa officer. It needs to be convincing that that you are very much desperate and you're looking forward for a great experience, for a great exploration. It should not like that अच्छा ऐसे है तो तभी हमने ये documentation दिया है. Some negative kinds of responses each and every, because I am in various groups, so I got to know that people are giving these kinds of answers to the visa officers. That is also one of the reason that they are getting refusals, rejections as well. And also make sure that start preparing for your visa, almost like 5 to 6 months prior. Be prepared with all the documentation once again, and focus on your cover letter very well. Cover letter is everything. If you are able to explain everything through your cover letter, you are good to go. You will definitely get your visa. Cover letter is everything.
What is everything? Yeah, those were some really helpful tips for the audience. Thank you for sharing them, Kapil. And everyone, thanks for watching the video and make sure to subscribe because more videos like this are upcoming.